Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure modification video. And it's been quite a long time since I've done one of these, but recently I picked up the McFarlane Toys Dark Knight Returns Batman, and right out of the box I thought he was a pretty cool figure, but I did think he needed a little bit more articulation in the torso. So I went ahead and made some modifications. I posted it on Instagram and a lot of people wanted to see a video of what I did. Unfortunately, I didn't have an extra Batman, but I did have Superman, and it looks like Superman's torso is very similar to the way that Batman's torso was in regards to the amount of articulation, and I think I could make the same modifications on Superman that I did on Batman, and hopefully that's helpful for everybody that was curious as to what I did on Batman. But yeah, let's take a look. So for Superman, he hasn't been modified at all, and as you could see, his torso really doesn't get any movement. Like, it goes back a little bit, but that's about it. You can't really crunch it forward whatsoever. You could definitely twist it, so that's pretty much the only purpose that it serves, but you can't really get any crunch forward. And then let's check out what I did on Batman. Is he gonna fall? Nah, he'll be alright. So here we have Batman, and his torso basically got the same amount of movement that Superman's did right out of the box, but I went ahead and made some modifications, and then check this out. We could get him to crunch forward a really nice amount. That definitely works for me. So yeah, all I did was pop them apart, make some cuts in there, and then I was good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I did. I'm not going to record the process because it's dangerous, because I did use like a X-Acto knife and a Dremel, so I'm not going to try to hold a camera while using all those things. But I'll go ahead and perform each step. I'll show you the parts of Superman before I make any modifications, and then I'll go ahead and do what needs to be done, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like after I've done what I did. And hopefully that's helpful for you guys. You know, I would say if you're like an experienced customizer, this will probably take you about 10 or 15 minutes. And if you're not like an experienced customizer, then I would suggest then maybe be very careful. That's really all I could say. Be very, very careful using sharp knives and Dremels and all that kind of stuff. You know, to me, it's a simple modification, but it may not be for everybody. So, you know, maybe try to find somebody that's comfortable doing it for you and have them do it, because it's really not a whole lot of work, but it could be dangerous. You know, you're using knives and Dremels, and if you don't know how to use those things, you could definitely hurt yourself or destroy your figure. So be very careful, but let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is pop Superman apart just using hot water. Thankfully, the hot water that comes out of my faucet is hot enough to get the plastic soft enough to where I could take it apart. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, so here we have Superman's lower torso, and just like I thought, his whole torso setup is exactly like Batman's, even the way that the joints kind of connect with each other. As you can see, this plugs into the upper body of Superman like at an angle. So when you have him standing straight up, this peg is already as far forward as it can go, and that's why you don't really get too much articulation out of it. So what I'm going to do is notch out a little bit from right in here. I'm going to try to remove some plastic from right in there, and then I'm also going to use my Dremel to bring this down just a little bit. And then hopefully that'll give us a little bit more movement from this joint. And then on the bottom side, I'm going to cut out some of this and notch it out kinda. And I don't think I'm going to lower this too much, but I am going to notch this out. Then hopefully that gives us the articulation that we want out of the torso. It worked for Batman, so it should be good on Superman. So let me go ahead and get my tools, and I'll be right back with the results. Alrighty, so let's see what we have going on. Starting off at the bottom, as you can see, I notched out a big old piece right there, so now he'll be able to crunch on that hip joint. And you know, obviously a lot of this is very ugly, but I wasn't really too concerned with the way it looks because I know that most of this is going to be covered anyways. But I cut out a big old piece right there, so that worked out. Up here I got kind of crazy with the Dremel, as you could see. It's super ugly and wild. But I think I was able to achieve what I was going for here. From the looks of it, I think that Superman is going to move around just fine, but we'll see. Yeah, so I notched it out a little bit, and then I went around here with the Dremel, and then I hit it with some sandpaper. But yeah, let's go ahead and pop Superman back together and see how it works. Alrighty, so let's see how it worked out for Superman. If you remember from the beginning of the video, when I tried to move him forward, he barely could crunch whatsoever. I mean, the diaphragm cut was pretty much useless as far as trying to get any type of forward movement. But now, after the modifications, check this out. Bam! Look at that. That is awesome. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. Definitely enough for this version of Superman. And as you could see, you don't see any of the damage that I caused. Like, none of it's exposed. At the bottom part, it's obviously covered up by the belt and the underwear, and on the upper or mid torso, it's kind of stuck into the upper body high enough that it's covered by the upper body, so you can't really see any of that damage I did with the knife or the Dremel. So that's awesome. But one thing I will point out is if I pull him back too far at the upper body, then you could definitely see all that damage. But, you know, that's like an unnatural pose anyways. If you want to get him to move back, you could use the waist and the torso at the same time, and you could get enough out of it there. And it's pretty much the same amount of backwards crunch that I was able to get before, so I didn't really lose anything. But if I was like taking pictures or something, I'd have to be mindful of that gap. But you know, that little bit of an issue is not really a big problem or anything, and it's well worth what I got out of it. So yeah, I'm happy with it, man. It was actually a little bit easier on Superman. I had to do additional work on Batman that was not necessary on Superman, so I'm pretty happy about that. And so there it is, a pretty easy modification, especially if you have any experience customizing figures. Again, if you decide to try to do this, please be very careful with using any of the tools. You could definitely hurt yourself if you're not careful. So, you know, like I said, I advise that you take your time or get some help from somebody who knows how to do it. And just be careful, you know, that's all. But man, I think both of these figures are awesome. And they're made much more awesome with a little bit of work. And I know some people are against having to put work into their figures. I'm not. I'm okay with it, you know. If a little bit of work can make me enjoy a figure like more than I already do, then I'm down for it. And I put a little bit of work into both of these figures, and now I gotta say, man, I love these things. I'm a sucker for anything based on The Dark Knight Returns, even though, honestly, I'm not even that big of a fan of that actual story. But I just love the designs, and I love things that are based on the way the characters look in that book. They have like a unique kind of vibe, but they're still very recognizable, you know? But yeah, these guys are awesome, and I like them even more with the new modifications. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. If you're not aware, I do go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and every Friday at 7 p.m. So come through, let's talk about toys and get weird. Thank you very much. Peace.